Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of Radio YesCymru podcast and also on YouTube. Hope you follow us and keep following the different podcasts we have lined up for you. An important podcast today, we're discussing the huge Independence YesCymru all under one banner rally taking place in Swansea on the 20th of May in a few weeks' time. And I'm very glad to say that Sam Murphy is here from Murphy of Abertawe, one of the people organising. Sam, welcome to the Radio YesCymru podcast. How are things?
Good, thanks, Sean. Yeah, really excited about the march coming up. You know, we're doing a lot of work to prepare for it as well, and looking forward to having a great day in Swansea.
Let's get the important things first, Sam. As we are Welsh and we say you're from Swansea, but I know that's not detailed enough for YesCymru people. So whereabouts in Swansea you're from, Sam? Tell us something about yourself.
Well, I've lived in Swansea my whole life. I was born in Swansea. I work in Swansea. I had my degree in Swansea University, and I live in Swansea now. I started my life in Wenaloedd, and I've been living in Gorsainon for the last 8 years.
Good stuff. That's the kind of detailed information we need for YesCymru podcast. Good. So you're involved in the Yes Abertawe, the YesCymru group in Swansea. The rally is on Saturday, the 20th of May, 2023, in case you're listening to this in the future. We'll go to details in a minute, Sam. But some people will be listening and thinking, well, we had a big rally in Cardiff earlier on. We had a big rally then in Wrexham. Why do we really need another rally? I mean, is independence about more than just rallies and people waving flags, basically?
I mean, I think it's really important because Wales is a diverse country. Every town and village and area has got its own thing going on. And I certainly think that in Swansea, we've got our own thing going on. And we definitely need to bring the independence movement to Swansea and also show the rest of Wales and the rest of the independence movement in Wales what Swansea's got to offer as well. So, I think it's really important. And I look forward to it going elsewhere after Swansea too.
Yeah, and I mean, there's going to be a rally back in 2019 in Swansea, if I remember correctly, 2020, and then COVID struck across us. So people like Trish did a lot of good work in running up to that, and then we had to cancel because of COVID. So I'm very glad it's going to Swansea. It's the second biggest city in the country. It's an absolutely essential place we win for the independence movement. I think it'd be fair to say Swansea's been quite a hard nut for the national movement in its whole to crack over the decades. It's been a peculiar place. On one way, as someone from Cardiff, it feels more Welsh than Cardiff. The accent is stronger. There's certainly areas just outside Swansea, like Morriston and then Trebanos and Gleith and all these areas. Very strong Welsh-speaking areas until recently. But for some reason, 10, 15 miles to the west in Carmarthenshire, and even so maybe Neath, the city itself has always been quite ambivalent, and then occasionally you see some of the Swansea City fans finding Union Jack, which nobody in Cardiff does anymore. So there's a peculiar thing going on there. So maybe explain to people maybe out different parts of Wales and outside Wales, what's the dynamics in Swansea, maybe how people feel about the independence question there?
That's a really quite difficult question, Sean. I mean, very complex. Swansea's a complex city in a way. It sits at a lot of intersections around Wales. If you think of as a sort of second city, there's a notorious rivalry with the capital city for a start. Then you have a sort of in Wales there's a north-south divide, so to speak. That's not all our fault. The transport links between north and south are notoriously bad too. So, I
mean, you've been leafleting in Swansea and you've been part of it. I understand you're also organising that. And so what kind of response have you had to Swansea? As I say, I think the point I'm trying to make is there aren't many Plaid Cymru councillors there. The city did vote for devolution in 97. Cardiff didn't. And again, we'll see in 2011 as well. So, I mean, what kind of response have you had from the ordinary people in the city, do you think?
It's been when we've been out on the street, everyone's been quite polite. Some people have been pleasantly surprised to see us. There are now and then the odd person who opposes independence, but personally I haven't met any really strong opposing feelings in Swansea. I think it's been a how to say really.
The thing is, it's an issue which people sort of have this. I'm thinking the other day. I mean, Cardiff, because we're the march in 2019, and you got like the media there, and a lot of people. I have the feeling that I wouldn't want to overstate it, but independence sort of people see it about the place to some extent. Depends, what the circles. Do you feel that's the same in Swansea? Is it something which people are sort of starting to think about, or is it something which is very new, or something which people just haven't thought about in any detail, or is it something different to that?
It depends who you speak to. I mean, it is. There definitely feels that there's there's a change in the air. There's an opening up to it. If I think of my own experience, I came of age in the cool Cymru years, but in my very early years, there was a sort of there was almost a sort of reticence, a bit of shyness about acknowledging Welshness amongst where I was from and my family, and there was a bit of a shyness and almost an uncomfortableness about using the Welsh language, say, as well. But that's changed over the years with devolution, and I certainly think since the last 10 years of government, particularly, we're looking and we sort of feeling more integrated into the wider Welsh community.
Yeah,
really.
and I'd agree with that. So to go to the rally itself, it's on Saturday, 20th of May. What time does you tell the listeners and viewers what time does it start, where does it start, what people need to do, and the basic stuff like that.
Okay, well, we're encouraging people to start gathering from 11:30 in the morning onwards. That'll be beginning in Wine Street in Swansea. And then, we'll allow some time for people to gather. We aim to kick off the march to actually march through the city starting at 1 o'clock. Then we'll make our way around a few of the main streets, up Castle Street, up the Kingsway, and finally ending up by Museum Square.
And it's a really nice route. Anyone knows Swansea. Wine Street is a very famous, infamous street in the town. For pubs and restaurants there. Very lively place on a Saturday night. So anyone in Swansea knows where Wine Street is. And the route is walking through the city centre, isn't it? So, I mean, this is great. So it's not some out in the suburbs. We haven't been kicked out to somewhere like Llansamlet or something. It's in the centre of the town. People will see us. We need to be there to be seen. So people need to be on the best behaviour. I know they will in any case. But it'll be a nice vibe, I think. It's a fantastic route. There's a bit of walking, but it's not a huge, maybe with a mile and a half, maybe. But it's essentially the same route as the Pride March, isn't it? So it seems to me that Swansea City Council basically decided for any possessions, this is the route they have, and they got that sorted out. So it's been great in that respect. So I'm very glad to see the cooperation with Swansea City Council in that respect and the police. So it starts at 1, but get there in good time, because it is in centre of town, so I mean, parking and stuff like that, give enough time for that. So with the march stuff, we want people to bring their flags, their YesCymru flags, the Welsh flags, other flags. We need to make a colourful occasion, because if you're not bringing flags and stuff, it just looks like a lot of people going for a walk, right? So the visual is important, and the royal family understand this, but that's why they're spending £100 million on it, because they want these images across the country. Well, we don't have £100 million in the Welsh independence movement, but we do have the people, and we need to be sure people know who we are, what we're doing, and make some noise as well. So there will be some noise. I know, chant and bring some whistles or something if you have. Anything special, anything new or different about the march in Swansea this time?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got, I think, in the local group, Abertawe, we've got a quite creative and idiosyncratic group. We've got some unique talents around as well. So, we're lucky enough to have a couple of guys who are very active in the group who have mobility issues. And from them, we came up with an idea for something we're calling either scooters with hooters for the guys who use the mobility scooters, or front row seats for anyone who might be using a wheelchair. And we're inviting these people to actually come and lead our march. I think it'll show the wonderful, the diversity and idiosyncrasy of our group, and also, of the city. This is what Swansea's got to show to Wales. It's quite a dynamic and creative city when you take the time to get to know it.
I think it's absolutely fantastic idea, and a bit of fun, isn't it? With scooters with hooters. I think it's a fantastic name, and it brings people in together without hopefully people feeling embarrassed, awkward. It's not an add-on; it's an integral part of the march. We want people to be there. We want people to be as they are, to be part of the march. I think it's a fantastic idea, Sam, and it's all respect for the Swansea people getting up together. Yes, Abertawe, for having that kind of thought and integrate it into the march in a way which is fun and normal and elevates people rather than makes them feel, they maybe shouldn't be there. And the other great idea I've seen on Twitter, I don't know, I never know what you call these things. People have been knitting things to put on pillar boxes, and there's probably a name for this, which I don't know what. But this is an absolutely fantastic idea. I mean, I'm amazed that people have the time and the patience, the ability to knit these kind of things with YesCymru's bunting and dragons and red, white, and green. But who came up with the idea? How did that come about?
Again, that was one of our, more active members, a woman called Rhiannon. Came up about it. Yeah, Rhiannon Barra. Yeah, that's right. And she it's called yarn bombing, by the way.
Right. Okay. Fine. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just the idea is that you knit or you crochet something in, and of course the theme we're going for is Yes Cymru. Right. So they're knitting loads of Yes Cymru logos. There's going to be lots of red and white going on, and then they'll be attaching these knitted objects to things like post boxes or trees or bollards along the route. So again, it's going to be something that's a little bit different that you might not have seen at previous marches. For people as you're marching along, you might be able to see an object that's been yarn bombed with a Yes Cymru logo.
It's absolutely fantastic. And I mean, companies go back to the royal family. They spend £100 million to try and make a point for the coronation. Find that's a prerogative. But we got people in the Yes Independence movement who are doing stuff of the goodness of their own heart for free, probably at a loss because they're paying for the wool and stuff as well. And you can't buy this kind of passion. You can't buy this kind of dedication to a cause, and we got it for free because people actually believe in Welsh independence and people stand up and own two people fighting for it. And if I was in Swansea, I may not be taking notice of different leaflets and stuff, but something like that would really trigger my interest. And it just shows that people are serious about something and in a nice, tactile-friendly way. I'm afraid you heard me about it going up on the Kingsway, Sam. I know about the Kingsway. I hope it's going to be there on the Sunday morning. But it's an absolutely fantastic idea. Again, if you're a marketing company, you'd be paying for these kind of ideas. And we got them in the independence movement with YesCymru, with all under one banner. People doing it from the goodness of their own hearts because they believe Wales should be a normal independence country. Absolutely fantastic. So those are two great things. I mean, if you're interested, please follow YesCymru, all under one banner. Yes Abertawe, so yes ABER, Aber means where the river meets the sea. Abertawe, TAWE. Tawe is the river, obviously. So yes Abertawe, or just Google it, and you'll find these stuff going up. And share on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, the usual stuff, because we need to get the message out, don't we?
Yeah, and if I could, Sean, just a little plug, right? If anyone is listening to this and they do want to get involved with scooters for hooters, front row seats, or with the yarn bombing, all volunteers are welcome. The more the merrier. So if they want to get involved, they can email abertawe@yes.cymru and give us their details, and we'll get in touch with them to get involved.
And Sam, you're also doing leaflets. I've been leafleting out in Aberystwyth, which is it's a bit of exercise. You stick a podcast on, some music on. You've done your 10,000 steps or whatever, 5,000 steps. It's quite nice. So there's a good schedule of events you're leafleted in, Sam. So maybe if you could give people an idea, kind of thing. And again, we need people to chip in on this one, really. So you've been out in a food festival and started this weekend, is it? And rugby matches.
Yeah, we were at Uplands Market on Saturday. There's a little street market that goes on, lovely little street market in Swansea. So we were walking around there, handing out some leaflets, having some conversations with people, which is great. I mean, that's part of what we're trying to do is get out there, be seen, get face to face with people and actually talk to people about independence. Maybe we can change some minds. Maybe we can learn something as well while we're at it. And then later on, a few of us also went on. We happened to have the Pride March in Swansea the same day. So we went and handed out some leaflets there as well. Again, the same thing. It was a lovely warm day, great party atmosphere, which I hope we'll have at our march as well. I'm sure we will. So it's just great to get around and just share the excitement of what's coming up for us.
Yeah, and this is the importance of the march, isn't it? The day itself is an important day, but the leading up, the getting in touch, it gives the movement an excuse, if we want, to talk to people, and also an excuse for people to talk to us. So we're meeting people in their place and asking them to come to us, meeting them in their place, and giving leaflets. And some people will take no notice, and some will, when it's true, may be unhappy. But most people are fairly open, and I think that's a big change since the first one in 2019. Is just the awareness that independence actually is an option. It's a serious grown-up option, and a lot of people now thinking, it is an option to be taken. And the latest poll was what, 33% or whatever. So it's been hovering around 30% now for a couple of years. I mean, the next step I think is something like 45, and I think it'll be a big chunk of that type in my view. That's not I'm not a seismologist, but I think there's constituents of people who will come over on block. But we're doing the groundwork here, getting the message out, getting people to listening to podcasts like this, and hopefully, they come over to us. The day itself, you told people, please get there on time. You don't be rushing there, with 5 minutes to go and you're running trying to find a car park. Come in time, enjoy Swansea, go for a bite, have a coffee, have a pint something before, not too many pints. But spend money in the city. That's another good way of people getting to us. The march itself, I don't think you've released speakers yet, or maybe there's an embargo or that, so I don't want you to get into trouble. But I mean, if you could tell us maybe some more ideas for the march itself, or maybe after the march or something.
Well, what I will say, right, is I mean, the list of speakers will be released in time by YesCymru and All Under One Banner jointly, as will a list of fringe events which we've got arranged as well. So there will be I'll tell you, there'll be a range of different activities. I really hope that there'll be something for everyone for you to do. That's been organised by our group and by other groups that are in favor of independence, so they're joining us. So there'll be that to do, and the events will start on Friday evening as well.
That's it, yeah, because I know there's a discussion by Melyn Drafod, I think it's Tawe, on the economy of independence. So that's something I've happened to come across. So, but as I say, there'll be more stuff like that. So really, it's a weekend. I mean, it's worth coming down on the Friday, taking your time, going to something on Friday night, or go for a meal or whatever. Come to the event on Saturday, stick around, and just enjoy. And this is one of the things I like about the Independence March. I hadn't been to Wrexham for years. Actually, the last time I think I was there was for the Eisteddfod year, for 10 years ago. And I know when the rally was up in Carnarvon, people had never been to Carnarvon. They stayed up and saw the place. Obviously, people are more familiar with Cardiff. But and same with Merthyr. People hadn't been to Merthyr. So people are getting to know their own country, I think. They're traveling and meeting different people, different types of Welshness, different types of Welsh people. And it's all good stuff, I think.
I think that's, I mean, that's exactly right. And I'm looking at it being like we've got a political point to make, but it's also, it's a festival, it's a celebration. That's one of the things that's really enjoyable about being part of YesCymru to me is the optimism and the forward lookingness of it. And also, like you said, getting to know people from other parts of Wales. If we go back to the leafleting as well, we've been doing face-to-face leafleting, but we also did some residential drops, put in leaflets through people's letterbox on Sunday. And I had a group of people come to join me. I had some from Cardiff, some from Newport, some from Pontypool, some from Merthyr. So it was, all the South Wales coming together. I'm sure the people from the north would have come if we'd have given them all notice.
and this is all good stuff. And, if you look at the all independence movement, it has been a cultural movement, isn't it? People getting together, people making music, people writing poetry, people taking photographs, and people having fun. And if it isn't fun, people just don't bother. So the Yes movement has to be a movement of optimism for people, I think, because people are feeling a bit down. You know, it is tough now, and I think going back to the royal wedding, you know, I think people are just thinking, you know, they got their own problems, and then they've seen this going on, and I think most people are, although I'm a Republican, I think most people sort of feel okay as a head of state, whatever. But I think they really misjudged it this time, and I'm surprised how little. There's nothing going on in Aberystwyth, you know. There's actually like zero, and I was expecting some kind of bunting, and some of the shops even if it's just like a corporate thing. I'm struck by how little is going on, and I think that says something. And compare that then with people with a knitting bomb or whatever the word term you used, and people doing this sort of the goodness of their own heart, and it's a different ball game, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and you know, we're having the coronation on the 6th of May, and you know, then 2 weeks later, you know, we get to have our own moment, so to speak. I mean, there might be some royalists who are part
Yeah,
of
of
our
course.
movement, so I don't exclude them either. You know, it was one of the options for being independent is you could be part of a
Yeah,
Commonwealth like Canada or Australia are, you
yeah,
know,
of course.
and that's fine too. You know, but like you said, some of the you know, the sort of there's a kind of lack of enthusiasm about it. I think I agree with you. You know, I saw, for example, you know, Kate, you know, went to see a baby
Oh
bank
yeah,
recently in Berkshire,
yeah,
and you know, personally, I mean, this is my own personal point of view, but
yeah.
I was just really struck by the real inequality of it, of you know, an actual princess going to a bank where you know, people are putting items and donating items because people can't afford to clothe or
I know,
feed or put nappies on their
I
babies, and
know.
it's only a stone's throw from where they live with millions of pounds. And I think as Welsh people,
Yeah,
you know, what are the things that draw us together, right? We have like an inherent sense of fair play, chwarae teg, do you know?
mm,
Yeah, you know,
yeah,
it's that's one of the things I think drives, you know, is behind that lack of enthusiasm, particularly in Wales for the coronation.
yeah. And it is absolutely bonkers. And you're thinking, I was just reading news today, and you know, I think the Welsh government is asking schools to look at not having logos on their school uniforms because it costs a lot of money. I'm thinking, heavens, people could afford that after the Second World War. You know, the
Mhm.
problem isn't school uniform, is it? You know, the problem isn't the badges too expensive. The problem is people aren't paid enough wages. You know, this is the problem, and we're sort of skirting around it. I didn't say food banks. You know, the problem is people just aren't getting enough money for the work they're doing, and you know, there's no wonder people are skint. And then to see then someone who is a millionaire, and getting a coronation, which is fair, you know, any head of state. And I think when Wales does become independent, I mean, if we are a republic and we have a president like Ireland, you know, yeah, we need to make a show of it and celebrate it. But I mean, the Irish presidency costs £4 million a year for everything. I know this coalition's got like 100 million for one off event. We're drawing to a close now, Sam. So the main point is that get there in time, enjoy Swansea, stay the night, you're fun, stay the night down. You know what else are you going to do? You know, enjoy the time. See the city. It's a lovely people, a friendly city, fantastic beach, which Swansea people just seem to remember they have. My daughter's at university, Gwen, I was in, and you know, it's absolutely amazing beach. I live in Aberystwyth. We got a rubbish beach, really. The 3 miles long of sun, you know, of sand. You know, enjoy the beach even on Sunday if it's sunny.
Well, we got some wonderful beaches around the
Yeah, I know.
Gower, you know,
Yeah,
some
I know.
world class beaches around the Gower. If you really want to come and make a weekend of it, and I hope the weather's going to be lovely,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
that would really make it. But yeah, we're really, really looking forward to you know, people coming to Swansea. Where, you know, if you can make it for a weekend,
yeah.
that'll be great. Come to all the fringe events. That'll be great. You know, if you're just coming for driving in for the march, enjoy the
Yeah.
march, go on. We're going to try and make it the best
Yeah,
experience
and
we
if you're
can for
coming
you.
in by train, Sam, I think it's not very far. It's about 10 minute walk from the train station to the kickoff place, isn't it? So, yeah,
Yeah, it'll be literally you get out of the train station, turn to your left, and you just follow that street straight down, and it'll lead you all the way to
yeah.
Wine
So
Street.
it's Oxford Street, I think, isn't it? And you basically it comes down to
Oh, you
Castle.
come off on that. You come Oxford Street's in a different direction, but
Oh,
you'll
sorry.
come
So
off on. You get up on. Come onto the High Street.
yeah,
If you turn left,
and
the High Street leads directly
that's
onto
it.
Castle Street, which leads
That's it.
directly onto Wine Street.
That's it.
So yeah, like you said,
Just
it's just
just
a straight
follow
line, 5 minutes walk.
just follow the crowd. The important thing is
Yeah.
there's still leaflets to distribute, so you still need people to chip in. So if you're living in Swansea, Connecticut, Nice. I mean, say even Cardiff, with drive away or Carmarthen. Please help the crew over there because it's a big ask. That Welsh people know it's like when the Eisteddfod comes, you've got to raise money and get stuff together for the Eisteddfod. It's a great privilege, but there's a lot of work to be done. So I mean, the crowd in Swansea have really worked really hard for this. There's a lot of thought being made into it, and as you've heard from Sam's ideas, a lot of new stuff happening, which I think will be taken up by marchers in the future as well. But you need people, bodies on the street to help. Are you still looking for people to help with the stewarding on the day, or is that okay?
Well, we're approaching the number of volunteers we want, but we would appreciate a couple more. So if you want to help either with leafleting or with stewarding, or we got some other things you can help with on the day. Email Abertawe at yes.cymru.
Yeah. And with the leafleting and stuff like that, just do what you can. So if you can just afford an hour, that's fine. That's great. Don't need to do more than an hour. But that hour, that 45 minutes will be very much appreciated. So we want people to chop in any way they can. I know if you're coming down and bring someone in the car with you if you're driving down, bring a friend or your kids or whatever. And it will be a family event. So if you're thinking about it, it'll be totally safe. It'll be a good vibe there. Sam Murphy, thanks for making the time to speak to Radio YesCymru on YouTube and also on a podcast. I'm looking forward to Swansea. I just can't wait. I think it's just been fantastic. And I think it'll be a great just juxtaposition between the royal coronation and then what the wearing Bob Rolling, the people of Wales are doing from their own money on their own time to elevate our little country to become an independent nation state. Sam Murphy, I will see you in Swansea, and I'm sure other people, when they see you, give Sam a big pat on the back for all the work he and the rest of YesCymru Abertawe have made. And please follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and please share the information so we get as many people to Swansea as possible. Sam, diolch yn fawr i ti, and we'll speak soon, I'm sure.
Diolch yn fawr, Sean.
Great talk.